as we continue our conversation for inner child adults that involves our 5D collective of mystics and mindfully, spiritually living and loving people. We have an integrated mind, and so integrated brain, and a mind that has bilateral integration. The left, the masculine, the right, the feminine. The masculine by itself is really not smart for those of us who have emotional maturity. We do respect, though, those who don't want to get themselves bilaterally, vertically, and overall integrated, because it's a personal journey to head on over to people like Patrick Jan. I mentioned him. He's a good therapist for childhood trauma survivors. Then there's Dr. Daniel Fox for personality disorders. There's a bunch of them. And then there's a bunch of people who don't do any of it. So in the meantime, the inner child adult, we get to be ventral energy because we're anchored in a brain that, again, it has bilateral, vertical, and overall integration in a body that is safe to be its own divine feminine. And so no matter what societal subject matters may come up, we don't have this thing called shame because we don't have the inner child that is reactive. Okay, we have soul time because we have a whole self. And self-empowered people know exactly who we are. That's the part. You can speak to me all day long as an empowered inner child adult. I won't be cowering down and thinking or feeling that I did anything wrong just because a group of people, dependently from the group. Now, that doesn't mean it's as straightforward as it gets. You acquire this as you live mindfully. I've done this since I was a teenager because I got a good child-centric environment. So my perception was not abused. And Maria is fine with her flaws. And therefore, prosperity continues. And therefore, speaking to anybody isn't a challenge when it says, here's who I am. That doesn't mean, again, that you might not be rejected or you will be. The point is that it's not something you hide. It's something you express. And for people who have a challenge in their partnerships, for example, Terry Real is great for couples, men and women and days. I believe he supports all who want to learn how to be able to talk to each other instead of being afraid to, and that's only because they're afraid of losing each other. Inner child adults, you can't lose. I don't own you. You don't live in my pocket. And it's from the feeling perspective. So again, it's not something we shy away from. Inner child adult doesn't lose the power that they hold when they're approaching difficult situations or relationships because we keep that prefrontal cortex online thanks to having the nervous system in our healthy self-regulation. Excuse me. And so we don't need reparenting. We don't need to learn how to be in restorative embodiments. We are actively healthy in our self-soothing and self-regulating methodologies because of having that inner child be able to stay online as an adult. Again, using my own words to help you understand the difference. The non-traumatized groups of securely attached people come together, and then we are joined by those who get somebody who can support them to have good mental, emotional, physical, mature relationships. We will be talking about that in the extended today, masculines and feminines, empowered counterparts. Tune in.